Okay.
Righto, let's look at some lower third supers, eh? So, here's our three items: camera 1, camera 3, and a video package. Camera 1, camera 3, video package, right? So let's put a lower third on the package, right? So we need to add the super underneath the line of where we want it. So we'll go new pilot edge, and we'll just pick our one line super here. So we'll double click. Looks like the preview engine is not working. Preview server seems to be okay. No viz engines available for rendering. Okay, that was working Friday, so I don't know what's happened.
Become yellow.
Yeah, doesn't matter about the preview, all right? Right, so we'll do a pilot edge, and we'll go a one-liner, okay? This is our one-liner, and we'll just say, okay? Now, down here, this will give you the information of the timing of how, on whereabouts will this lower third appear on the, right. So first of all, we have the destination. So we have a full frame, which we don't want. We have the DSK, which is the downstream keyer, and we have the destination with the wall, which is a wall. So it could be a wall, could be an over shoulder, or could be in a screen or something. So we want this lower third to be a DSK. So we're going to select DSK. Now it's going to ask us an in and a duration. Okay.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
if we,
code.
hey,
Like put in time code.
sorry.
Put in time code.
Yeah, time code. Yes. Yeah. So the in would be automatic, and we want the out to be automatic as well. So that's why there's two autos there. Okay. So if we said we want it to come in at 1 second, and then we want it to come out we want it on for 5 seconds, that would be something like that. Okay. And then we can save it, and that's what we'll call it. We'll create a new element, and then we'll add that send it to the newsroom. And there's our viz. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then we have a little yellow splotch on that. Okay. Now, hopefully this works. If I turn on my DSK and we tap through that,
Oh, we can see.
okay. So it's on for 5 seconds, then it comes off. Okay. Let's have a look at some other options.
So you said 5 seconds. So it's like they just suddenly disappear.
Yeah, after 5 seconds.
Okay. If the template has like a animation out, so if the template and because sometimes we want to mat in, like there's a square and then extend,
yep.
And then when we want to take down, it like move back.
Yep.
Yeah. So is that built-in template, and how we trigger that?
That's all done when you make the lower third in VisArtist.
Oh, but
so Mosart, all Mosart is doing is saying, take the super, and then take the super out.
Yeah, I mean, when I set a duration,
yep.
is that trigger the template to do the out animation?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So because this one we didn't set anything, so it just cut.
No, it animated out.
Okay,
I'll show you
which is
again.
Far.
Yeah.
It's far away from
Yeah.
the
So watch.
Okay.
There.
Yeah,
See it
this
slid
is
up.
In, yes.
There's in, and then 5 seconds. There's out.
Oh, okay.
It just,
Oh.
That's how it's milled.
如果我临时想手动触发，怎么弄？
Okay, and he said if sometimes a Chiron maybe producer need to adjust a little bit, so we need to like certainly manually take it. Is how to do that.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep.
Producer set a time code, but we don't want to use that.
Yep. Let's edit that.
不要在这里面做。
Can we operate on that side or?
What do you mean operate on what side?
Yeah, I mean the template in the Octopus,
Yeah.
producer already set a time
Yeah,
code. Yeah,
yeah.
but we need to do it like certainly manually take it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Let me get through this part before I go back to that part.
Oh, okay.
I'll explain everything.
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
Let's go back to here.
他说他先解释这边怎么做，再解释那边。
So here we've set an end of 1 and we've got a duration of 5. Okay. So let's just say we wanted to make this the length of the package.
Oh,
Okay. So we want it to
like unlinked.
yeah, but we don't know how long the package is going to be.
Yes.
All right. So we have an option for the duration, and we have a couple of options here. We have a background, an open, and a story. Okay. So if we select background end, right, the lower because the lower third is attached to the package. Okay. When we come off the package, that's the background ending, so it will come off as well.
Oh.
Okay. If we set story, okay, then the lower third, depending on where it is, when we finish the story and go to the next story, that's when it will come off. Okay. And then the third option is open end, right, which means it'll come on and it will stay on until you manually take it off. All right.
And how we manually take it off?
Okay. So let me just put in a background end, right?
Oh, but background end will be like take off when it's end.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so background end will take off when we take the background. So the background would be a block, okay? And a story will when the next story starts, okay? So let me just do a background and we'll save it and we'll do that and we'll then add it back. Okay, now as you can see, there's now a little square. That kind of denotes that this lower third is a background end, okay? If it wasn't, you wouldn't have that square, and the length of the yellow line would be the length of how long the lower third would go, okay? So if it was like 1 second, it'd be like that. If it was 5 seconds, it's like, you know, as it was, okay? So we're going to take it, and because it's a background end, it's going to come on, and it's going to stay on, and there it is there, okay? It's going to stay on until I change the background, all right? So if I now cut the background, which means I'm going to stay on the same story. Oh, okay, see the clip's finished, but the super's still on because I'm still. Now if I change the background, which just means I can put in another camera, all right? And I can take it, the background's now changed, which means the super will come off, okay? If that was a story ended, that would have kept on going until I changed to the next story. Okay. Now, if you want to take it off whenever you want, we have a button for that. All right. So, the one thing you can do is you can right click here and take out. Right?
Really sorry to drag it.
Sure.
Thanks. Oh, there will be a
Here. See? This is what tells you what's online. Right click, take out. Okay. There's another option. Do it again. Down here. Right click, take out. All right. And the other option is create a keyboard shortcut.
You still can set a keyboard shortcut.
Add new shortcut. Control command. Overlay graphic. It's not in alphabetical order. So there we go, overlay graphic. Current. Take last out. Okay, and then we can give it a parameter, which means take out the last DSK. Okay, because if you have an over shoulder and a lower third on at the same time, and you do a take out, it wants to know which one do you want to take out. So we'll say we want to take out the DSK. Okay. So overlay graphics, take the last one out, which means the last one that was taken will take the last one out. And then we'll say take out. And most customers put it on the home key. As I said, you can put it wherever you like, but most customers put it on the home key.
Okay.
All right. We'll save that. And then we'll take the lower third, so it gets taken, and then we'll hit home, and it takes it out. Right. If you want to re-super it again, we can just right-click, take.
Oh, okay. So they're already there.
Yep. We can take it out. We can actually be on another story down here, and then as I said, see this box here tells you the assets for the story you're on, but I can then scroll up to this story and click it and get the assets for this story, right? So I'm on this story. There's the asset. I want to reuse that super I used up here, so I can now click up there and then take. And now that super is appearing on here.
So there's a situation if the package already link the loader, but we don't want to use it. Like this is also set the time code automatically, but we don't want to take it. How to unlink it?
Yep. You can double click it and hit remove.
Sorry, double click and.
Yep. So I'll do it again. So we're on here. Double click that. So if you double click the bat, you're going to change the type of template, okay? But if we double click the little yellow block, then we get the option to remove.
Oh, okay.
And see how it gets removed? Yep. And again, there is another hotkey that we can set up, which is skip, which will, instead of not skip the template that we set up earlier, but another skipped that we can, if you've got a whole, like a 2 minutes of video and you've got lots and lots of supers, and you're coming up to one and the producer says, don't take that one, you can hit the button and it will remove just that one, which is the next one.
Oh.
Yeah, or you can double click and remove it, which one you want. There's even another button which you can press and it will remove everything without taking them. Yep.
So the home one is take off everything, and on DSK, last one, what you setting is.
Yeah, so this hotkey I set up, that's take out because it's already on air. That's the one to take out, all right? If you don't want to put it to air, then you have to do a skip, create a button to skip, or we need to double click and remove it. That's if you don't want to take it to air. But if it's already on air and you want to take it out, then we've already made our key to take out the last super that's on. Yeah.
在那个黄色的那个地方快速点2下，那个东西可以直接清掉，
清掉 auto。
就是整个清掉，
不，
因此不要 auto。
事先设好 auto， 但是临时有可能不觉得那个时机不对，我要变成 manual 来 take in， 这时候怎么办？
对，就是他刚是说你可以先挪掉，然后你挪掉你切上去之后呢，你可以按那个 control 就让它回复，但它已经没有那个时间了。
要这样啊。
Oh, and he talked about a situation when you remove it and we play the package, and suddenly he will move it back. So when the package start rolling, and then I think it's like Control Z, you can put it back, right? But the time code is expired, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, 对，就是我刚刚讲的。
Right. So so that would be a case of the other option where you would take the time supers and you would create them as manual supers, right? So I'll explain to you what a manual super is. So at the moment, the in is auto, and the out and the duration is background or auto with the time, okay? If we make the in as a manual, okay, it's the same super, and I'll make the duration the same, 5 seconds, okay? And I'll save that.
Oh, so we can manually take it and it will be.
So it's going to disappear, right? But what it's going to be, it's going to look like this, okay? So see up there, now I have one of those, okay? And one of those is now a manual super, all right? So there's no time of when that one goes in. It's up to you when it goes in, okay? And then down here, usually down here, we have buttons that will again populate, depending on the store you're on, that will populate this lower third onto a button here, okay? But it's also still here, all right? So if you take the package, or even just take the camera, and then this is the manual floating super, you can just take that anytime you like. And there you go.
And for this situation, it will be take off itself 5 seconds later. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've set it there to be a manual in, but a 5 second duration, or a background in duration. Or you can have it again. An open end. As I said, so open end it just keeps going until you take it out.
Okay.
All right.
有些环节还是要设那个 button 来的，就 on 跟 off。反正这是 manual 的做法。然后对，反正刚刚讲那样，就是如果你是那个 package，就是突然间不要，那就先这样清掉，然后你就开始播那个 package，然后这个拿回来就好了。
If we have
manual.
对，就变 manual。
If we have multiple lower third, and because one time code is wrong, others are all wrong, we change them all to manual when it's
Oh, so you're saying you have 5 lower thirds and one of them's wrong?
Yeah.
But they're all wrong?
Yeah, because when we set up a time code, we'll do some math to add up. So if one is wrong, the others may also be entered wrong.
Okay, yeah. So let's just do that. Let's do one at 5 seconds. Save that one. Push it over. Oh, hang on, it's still on. It's on air. That's why. Let's edit again. All right, so we'll do this one at 1 second for 5 seconds, and we'll save that, and we'll push it over, right? And then we'll do another one, another pilot edge, another one line. Okay, we'll do this one in at, well, if that's 5 seconds, let's do in at 7 seconds, and we'll make this one silly. We'll make that 3 seconds, and we'll just call that next line. Save. All right, so there's our next one, and then we'll do one more new pilot edge, one line, So if that was 7, and then we'll make this one 10 seconds for, and we'll make that one 5 seconds, and we'll say last time. And we'll have that one, save it. Right, so there's our 3 supers. There they are there. New York, last one, last time, okay. Now we can set up a button which would take them all out. So we can go Shortcuts Editor, add new shortcut, Control Command, add Control Command. The Control Command would be Overlay Graphics. The action would be no, not that. The action would be overlay to manual, right? On air. And then so you have, so that we're going to do an overlay to manual, which means it takes all the overlays and makes them manual. We're going to, the target is going to be the on-air story, or you can have the story in preview, or you can have it selected. Okay, so we'll just make it on air. Again, we need the handler, so we want to make sure that we're not taking out any over shoulders or anything in the wall. We want to make sure it's the lower third, so the handler will be DSK. And the take out method will be, are we going to keep the durations of what they are, or are we going to then say, okay, I want to then choose when I want to take them out. Noting that you can still make this automatic, so they'll still come out at their time, but then you can also overwrite that as well, right? So let's just say, let's make it that way. And then just overlay to man, and we'll click a button, and we'll call it M. I cannot shift. Right, there's our button, save. Close that. So now we can start our package. And before I start it, I'm going to hit M and see how they all disappeared. And now they're all here, ready to go. Okay. The other option we can do is, instead of having them here, you've got to right click and take them when you like, we can have them populate down here. So if we do this, we can go to our editor again. Let's add a shortcut. This time it will be a template, and I'm going to go bind to content, bind to slug, bind to template, and it's going to be lower third. I was looking for overlay graphic then. Yep, and we'll just do default. And then we'll just make that 1, and we'll go Z, and then save, and then we can just rip that out. Duplicate, duplicate. All right, so I'll make two of those. I'll make 4 of them. Let's do 4. Duplicate. Okay. And so this one, this duplicate, will be X. This one will be C. And this one will be V. Okay. So now we have 4 drop keys, as we call them, lower third drop keys, just like these are drop keys. And so now if I do that and I hit my manual, now they're all going to be lined up in there. I didn't do it properly, but they should all be. They should come up with their separate line, their separate slugs there. So now we can just hit Z and then take out when we're ready. And then I can do X. I can take out when I'm ready. And so then, yes, then you get that flexibility of if you don't want to have them in and out as automatically as the producer has done it, you can hit your button, which will then drop them down to there, and then you have the buttons of supering them whenever you like. So we've gone through taking it out manually when you want. You have the option to click and take it out, click and take it in, hitting a button to make them all manual, or actually creating them manual to start with, which then they would also populate these lower buttons as well. And then, as I said, if you're on another story, right, you have the option to click back up and you have all the assets, so you can reuse one of these onto here, right? Also, the other option is if you have a very long rundown and you find yourself reusing a super over and over and over, and you go, oh, you know it's up on this package here. If you know it's on here, instead of scrolling all the way up again every time, because you're down, just pretend you're down here at some story, instead of scrolling all the way up, clicking, supering, scrolling all the way down, you can say, okay, I like this super, I want to keep using it for my whole entire rundown. You can click and drag it and drop it onto a button like that. So now when you're down here on this story, you can just hit I, and that'll super, and then again takes out. You can super that whenever you like. You can have multiples if you want. Okay. The same with the packages. You think, oh, actually, I really like this package. We're going to keep playing it over and over again. I can click, drag that, put that there. So now I can play that package anytime I like. All right. So, and that goes for the overlays as well. So there's an overlay. So I like that overlay. I'm going to use it all the time. So then I'm down here, and I want to use that overlay. I don't have to keep scrolling back up and clicking the line to populate the drop key. I know that this key will always keep that overlay. So I can be down here and I can just hit U and it will preset it and play it straight away.
I just come up with a question.
Yep.
If the run line is very long,
yep,
and we scroll down far from the live one,
yep,
how we go back immediately?
You're going to have to scroll back up, I think. But I think because you're going to have your monitor bay in front of you like this, right? And you know what the next source is, right? So what happens is if you scroll down, if you hit enter to take the next source, it's going to jump back up.
Oh, okay.
To your story you're on.
So just make sure next is good, and we just.
Yeah, make sure your next story, if you scroll all the way down and then click here and go set as next story and skip, it's going to skip all that way down. But if you're just scrolling down to have a look at something, then don't be doing set as next, because you want to keep your next story as your next story. You know, you certainly, yes, you can scroll down, have a look, scroll back up, or click to get an asset. But yeah, only be using the set as next story when you actually want to set that as the next story. Yeah. But look, if you have to go down all the way down here to go to a next story, I would just tell the producer, can you move that story up? Oh. You know, just move that one up to to be the next story.
Well, in my experience, it's so hard to accident do anything.
Right.
I have a question then. So if we are here.
Yep.
So if we are here, we play, and we want to play, we want to go back.
Yep.
So we can still have.
Yeah, you can skip
next story.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we can jump back.
Yep.
Okay. I see.
Yep. You can jump back. Yep.
And also we can set a button like when we click that and press button.
Yeah, like we did. Set as next here.
We did
Yeah.
that in
So here, set as next. Set as next. Yep. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
And actually, so we have to press the button rather than click, right?
That's up to you, right? So in your in the keyboard shortcuts editor, you have options. Okay. So let's just take this one for example.
But for default, it needs to press a button.
Yeah. So see how it says on touch or mouse click? It's going to go on air or it's going to go none. All right. So at the moment, set as next is none. So when you're clicking it on the keyboard, right? When you're doing this, nothing's happening because the keyboard shortcut for mouse is set to none, but on the key, it's set to go on air. All right. So if you want to click mouse buttons, you can just turn that on.
Okay.
But you've got to do it for everything. Or we've got to do it for the ones you want. Now for the cameras, right?
Yeah.
When I was hitting F1, it was inserting it and waiting for you to take it, right? But if you're quite happy to go, when I hit F1, I'm just going to cut to it straight away. So here is preview or on air. So on key release, it's going to put this template, camera 1 template, into preview, or it's going to go on air. All right, so I'll show you the difference. So camera 1's on air, camera 2's preview. All right. And then I'll do another one. I'll do camera 3 with a mouse can be select. Okay, and I'll show you what that does. All right. So camera 1 is on air straight away. Camera 2 on the key is preview. And camera 3 for a mouse is select. All right. So let's just save that. All right. Let's go down here. Let's just restart the rundown. And I'll start from this story here. So we're on our external. Right, so camera 1 was on air straight away. So now it's cut straight away, okay? It went straight away. Camera 2 was a preview. So then it inserts it and it waits. It's still on camera 1 and it's waiting for you to take next. Right, so I'm going to go camera 2. All right. I can do camera 1 again, it's going to cut straight away. See, it's already cut straight away. Now camera 3 was a select on my mouse, all right? So now I'm going to hit this and see how these two light up. So now it's saying, okay, you've selected camera 3, do you want it on program or do you want it on preview? Okay, well I want it on preview, so I'll click this box, preview, and it's going to put it in preview. All right, let's just do that again. So now I'll go to camera 3 and it says I'm going to put it, I'm going to click in program and it's going to take it straight away to program. All right, so you're selecting. So that's what the difference is. So let's go back and have a look at that again. All right, so let's go back here. So the key release is on releasing the key, not when you press the key. When you release it, it's going to go on air or it's going to go in preview. Okay. And also there's another checkbox here which is insert. All right, so if you have, for example, if you're on camera 1 and you already have camera 3 there, right, and you want to do one of these, do you want to insert it so it pushes camera 3 across and the package across, or do you want to override it? All these decisions are up to you. How wonderful. So that's what that insert does. Does it insert it? So insert it and it's on air and it pushes all the rest across and ready to go, or does it basically overwrite the next template automatically and put it to air? Or does it put it in preview and overwrite the next template if it's there? Or does it put it in preview and insert it, which means the other templates get pushed across ready for air? That's what that one does. And then on the mouse touch or on touch or mouse click, just remember, some customers actually have this as a touch screen in front of them, right? So they have their mouse, they have their keyboard, and they have a touch screen, so they can just touch, right? Which is the same as clicking with the mouse. So we have a select, which means I'm going to click this with my mouse or touch it with my finger, and it's going to give me boxes like where do I want to put it. Or when I click it with my mouse, again, I can put it into preview, I can put it on air, or I can do nothing. So you can set that to whatever you like on each individual key. So you can set them all to none, so you don't actually accidentally, when you're trying to click something, when you're trying to click something here, you're not accidentally clicking that, or you're clicking up here, and you kind of click here and you click that. So all those decisions are up to you to do when you lay out your keyboard and you have all your shortcuts of what you want to do. How do you want your cameras? So most customers, their cameras are direct cuts, like this. They're cutting on a switcher, right? But for the externals, they always preset. They always preview before they take. So they preview, yep, like that, take it. Or I don't care what the cameras are, camera. Other customers have both. So on the first layer, they have them all as cuts. As soon as I hit the button, it's going to take. Or when I hit down control, if I do that, I hold down control, it's the exact copy of what that looks like, but I know that when I hold down control and I hit F2, it's going to preview. So you can have those options as well. So, for example, this one. So camera 1 is on air straight away, right? And I'm going to duplicate that. Let's just duplicate, right? There's my camera 1 duplicate. And then on control, F1, right? I have the same thing, but I'm going to make it preview. Okay, save. So now I've got that and that. Okay, now it's called duplicate because I made it called duplicate, but if you want to make it, say, for ease's sake, preview, and we can make this one, just call that one camera 1, all right? So now I have camera 1 and I've got camera 1 preview, all right? So let's just pretend we're on this one, and I know if I hit F1, I'm going to cut it straight away to line, okay? But on my control sheet, if I hold down control and now I hit the same button, it's going to pop it into preview for me, ready to take. So yeah, as I said, you have a whole layer of top, you have a whole layer of control, you have a whole layer of shift, you have a whole layer of alt, you have a whole layer of control alt, and alt shift, and control shift, and alt control shift. Okay? So you never run out. All right? You'll never run out.
But it's too much.
All right? Believe me, there are customers who have filled every button on every layer.
How can they memorize?
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh?
How can they memorize?
They do. They just do. Yep. They just do. Yep.
Memories.
Yep. All right. So let's dig in now to a little bit about how these templates work and how they get to where. Okay. So let's have a drink. Devices, template editor, okay? So just like in our mosart up here, all right, with our camera package, VoiceOver Live, full screen DVE, we've also got the same for our making of our templates, okay? Now, at the moment, you only have one template set, right? Which means this here and all these templates and variants in it is one template set. So what you can do is you can have multiple template sets. So you can say, we do a morning show, we can have a template set for that. We have an afternoon show, we can have a different template set for that, because they do similar things, but some things are different. So when you go to do the afternoon show, you would say, I want to select, and you can do it in here, see, studio setup. It's called template examples, but you could have morning show, afternoon show, evening, or you know, whatever you want to call it, okay? So you can have multiple template sets, okay? So at the moment we only have one template set, and also in here then as well, that would list them as well. All right, so we're doing the rundown for the afternoon show, so I'll select the afternoon show, okay? So let's just do something really simple. So let's have a look. So here, if we select camera, we've got 1, 2, 3, close a shot, open a shot. And if I select template camera, same thing, 1, 2, 3, close a shot, open a shot, okay? So that's exactly the same. Let's pretend, let's do a camera 4, okay? So we want to do a new template, and we want to make it a type of camera, okay? And the variant name is this name here, okay? So what we don't want to do is we don't want to say, in the variant, we don't want to write camera 4, right? Because then it would be camera 4.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? You just want to write, because that's camera already, because you've already selected camera and then 4, or camera wide, or camera 2 shot, or camera, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's do a 2 shot, you know? So let's go, most customers would go, okay, well, what camera is the 2 shot on? Is the 2 shot on camera 1? Is the 2 shot, you know, 2 hosts, right? Is it on camera 3? So let's say let's do our camera 4. Let's say the 2 host, 2 shot is on camera 4. So they would go camera 4 and then go 2 host. Now, this is totally up to you however you want to lay it out, but I'm just giving you kind of some real world examples of what they would do, because you may have a 2 host on camera 3. So there's no point having a 2 host because you don't know what camera it's going to be on. And also you can't name the same variant, all right? You can very well put the different cameras in the code, but you can't have something called 2 host twice, because it will say, no, you've already got a 2 host. So you want to say, okay, well, this will be camera 4, 2 host. And then in the description, you can do something really good. So this, you can say camera 4, 2 host.
So description won't show up?
Yeah, the description will show up in here.
Oh,
yeah. You know, 2 host on the left of set. Okay, so then we can go okay, and or the name I'll just put for, you can, this is kind of shorthand, 2 host like that. Okay, I'll save. Now I won't do anything here at the moment. I'll just demonstrate what that looks like here. There we go. So there's our 4 2 hosts. So there's our camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4 2 host. And if I click that, before I add it, it's going to go, oh yeah, camera 4 2 host on the left set. That's the one I want, yeah. And replace in story. Okay? So that's a good way of giving it a little short description of what it is, but it actually tells you what it actually is going to do. Okay? Right. So we have our camera. We need to say, well, a couple of things we need to do is, a couple of things we want to say, okay, well, we want to tell the vision switcher to cut to camera 4, and we want to tell the audio mixer to put up some microphones. Okay, now you don't have robotics, so if you did have robotics, then you would have another command to put the robotics into the shot you want. Okay, but you don't have that yet, so we'll just do the basics. So this left-hand panel here is the video, and this right-hand panel here is the audio. So if we right-click, we're going to enable, and we get a list of all our devices we have. We don't, that's every device. You don't have all these devices, so half of them won't work for you. But what we do have is we have a switch across point. So we're going to enable the switch across point. Okay, so now it's going to ask you, okay, where do we want? Do we want to cut our cross point on PP? Do we want to cut our cross point on ME1 or ME2, etc., etc.? Okay, so the basic is, yeah, we want to cut our cross point on the program preset. Okay, and so the easiest way to do is just to select PP, leave that as none, and then hit OK, and then it will just actually give you the list instead of typing it in manually, because sometimes you might misspell it and it won't know what the thing. So then we say, okay, well, that's our camera 4. That's already been set up in the back end to say when we select cross point camera 4, it knows that it's going to cut to camera 4 like that. Okay. And then here we have this is what the default transition is. So the default transition is a cut. So you say every time I do this template, I always want to cut. Easy. But if you want to always say I always want to mix, then you would say I want to mix in 60 frames. Okay. Of course, this can always be overridden here or overridden in here when you put the template in. But this is basically just the default. That is what will be displayed here. Right.
And how about audio channel part?
Yep. So we've done our cross point. So now we want to add some microphones. So we're going to right click here and we're going to add a fader. Right. And we're going to add, well, because it's 2 microphones, let's add 2 faders because it's 2 guests, two hosts. Okay. So now we have 2 faders and we're going to click on the blue box and we're going to say it's microphone 5 and this one's going to be microphone 6. And this is the level of the fader when we cut to the template. So
this is like we need to negotiate with audio engineer and set a channel here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Now there's a couple of other options you can do. There is the first thing we need to do is we need to say that this fader is a microphone.
Oh, we can say it's microphone or a speaker or something?
No, it's a microphone. All right, it's not a telephone or a sound player or an external source or a video server. We've got to say it's a microphone.
I think next time we can just talk to audio engineer to help out. Yeah.
Well, you know it's a microphone. So,
yeah.
And then also the other kind of good one here is in and out. Now this is the fade time of the in of the template and the fader out of the template. Okay. So if you're cutting to a camera when the microphones are down and you're cutting to this camera, they're going to start talking. You don't want it to slowly fade up over 5 seconds. You don't want that, do you? Because you're going to cut to the camera and they're going to be talking like this and then it's going to get louder like that because you want, think of it as if you're an audio director sitting there and the director's going cut 4, he wants to flick the fader up like that, doesn't he? So we're going to go into this template at a crossfade time of 4 frames. So that's 4 frames, basically flicking the fader up. And then when we come out of the template, which means we basically cut to a package, we want to come out, we want to close them pretty quickly. You know, we don't want to close them slowly because the package will roll and we'll cut to it and the fader is still being closed and the guests might start talking to each other. So you might hear that. So you want to say, okay, we want to out at 4 frames or maybe 10 frames just to give it a nice bit of thing. Right. Does that make sense of how that works? How that faded and out works?
Oh, if it's go on live feed, it's still the same setting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So all these these options are the same for
live feed.
For every fader, for every template. You know, it's the same. So when we cut to the package, we want to put up the server ports. We don't want to put up the server ports over 5 seconds because we'll miss the start of the audio. We want to put them up quickly. But when we come out of the package, we don't want to slam it because it might look a bit harsh feel a bit harsh on it. So we might want to slowly fade them out, right? But we still want the next template, which is the microphones, to come in quickly. So this is why we have to kind of like manage and think about how you want your faders to come in and out and fade in and out for each thing. So that's how a basic template works. Okay, so that's basically cutting to a camera 4 and putting up 2 microphones. And once you've done that, there it is there. It's already there for you, ready to go. All right. So now we can actually replace that in the story. And there it is. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Let's just say that you have a rundown, or you've got a rundown and you've put that template in, and you have another template set. Right? As I said, you can have multiple template sets. They each have their own templates. They can have the same templates, or they can have different templates. Or somebody might come and delete that template, right? But you've already got it in your rundown. So let's just see what that looks like. So if I go back to my template here, select it, select camera, and I'll select it. So there's my template I just made. If I delete that template, all right, and I'll save it, look what happens. It turns red. All right. So if you're looking at your rundown and you see a red template, danger, because that template is now no longer available. So mosart, when it gets to it, you're going to cut to it and it's going to go, well, I don't know what it is. It's missing. It's not there anymore. I don't know what to do. Where do I cut? What do I do? And that would be the same as if you had template sets as well. Okay, if you had different template sets and somebody put the wrong template from the wrong set, and you have the right set selected, then that's what you would see, right? So the easiest option for that person would be to tell them, hey, you've used the wrong template set. Can you maybe just adjust it, or use the right template from the right template set? All right. So that's what that means. We can remove it, but it's still going to be there when I reset. Okay. All right, let's look at something a bit more complex. Now, what I did was I mocked up your bureau boxes. Okay, so.
Because bureau boxes is linked to presets, so we definitely need to set in octopus, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you definitely need to select it in octopus, because you've got to attach a clip to it, and you've also got to tell the other two keys or the other two boxes whether it's a camera 3 or a camera 2 or camera 1. Yeah, here it is. So if I select that, and I'll just cut anyone. All right, there you go. So there's a background I made. There is a clip A in there. That's what it's going to look like. And there's a camera 1, and then there's LUA. Right? Is that kind of like what you do? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ME, like toolbox.
Yeah, it's on an ME. Yep, it's on an ME, so I can cut. I can cut clean. Yep. Right. So that all I did there was I made that effect on the ME, right? And I also copied it to the other ME as well. So on ME2 is exactly the same thing on exactly the same number. Okay? So this is really important, that if you're going to do something like this, that you do it exactly the same on both ME1 and ME2, and have them on the same EMEM number. Because then when you are doing these rolling things back to back, okay, mosart will allocate which ME it's going to use, right? So I've done that. I saved it on preset 7, okay? Let's have a look at what it looks like in the template editor. So it was template, and it's an ad-lib pick, and I called it a bureau box, okay? Right, let's start off with our cross point here. Let's just go, we can right click and we can do device properties. Now, the mix effects, I didn't select PP, I didn't select ME1 or ME2, I selected MRIP. So MRIP is telling mosart system that when you use this template, you decide what ME to use. I'm not telling you. Okay, it's up to you. So if you've already got two-way boxes on ME1, right, and you go directly from two-way boxes to your bureau boxes, then mosart will know, oh, I'm actually already on ME1 with the 2 box, I'm going to use ME2, okay, and vice versa, okay. So you don't have to think about anymore whether, okay, I'm going to go 2 box and I'm going to go back to bureau, so I'm going to use that, I've got ME1 and ME2, and then, you know, don't need to worry about it. You just put in the templates and mosart will figure it out, okay. So we're going to use the mix effects is mrip, so it's going to allocate. The cross point on the ME is buffer 11, which basically means this background picture that I just pulled out. Okay, that's what buffer 11 is. See, it's just a picture of a building. Okay, just to tell it needs something behind the boxes. All right, so this could be a graphic, it could be something that's already in there. Okay, and then also we want to say that when we use the mix effects, we want to set the ME in the PP, which means obviously we want to set the ME as either preview or program. Okay, that's what that means.
Can we just don't say anything and then just let the rundown go? Like that preview just for next, right?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is when this template is in preview,
oh, yes.
right? It will say it will allocate which ME it's going to use, and then it will select the ME in preview.
Oh,
and then when you take the template, then it will cut
to the ME.
To the ME. That's what that means. Yes, okay. That's what that means. We want to set the ME in PP. If we didn't have that, right? If that wasn't ticked, then it wouldn't select them at all. It would recall everything on the ME, but it wouldn't cut to it. It would just cut to nothing. All right. So that's important that if you're going to do something on an ME row, that you say, yeah, the mix effects is whatever one you want, but I also want you to put it on the program for me. Okay. So that's what that does. Okay. So we've kind of sorted that out. The next one is we need to tell the vision mixer, we need to recall our snapshot 7, which is our box. All right. Okay. Because I've made that, and that sets up all the keys in the right positions and everything like that. Okay. So this is what this one does. So if I right click enable, I've also got emem recall. Okay. So I'm gonna recall in preview, because you don't want to recall it in program, because if you recall it in program, when you cut to it, it's going to go.
Yeah.
You know, you want it to.
Yeah, preview.
When it's in preview, you want it to recall and be there ready to go. You can see it. Okay. So in preview, we want to recall emem number 7, which is there. Okay. And when we cut to program, we don't want to do anything. Okay. And then also, again, it's saying, well, which mix effects am I recalling 7 on? Well, you're recalling it on whichever one you want, which is the ripple, the M ripple. Okay. So that's what that does. Then we have our default. We're always going to cut to it, but we can override that, as you know. And then we have 4 keys. Okay. So we have 4 keys. Left box, middle box, right box, and the 4th key is actually this one over the top. So see how these are all turned on? So if I do this, like that, there's that one, there's that one, and there's that one. All right, there's the full one. All right. So when it's recalled, all these 3 are turned on, but the 4th one isn't. The 4th one's turned off, right? So we have key 1, key 2, key 3, key 4. Key 1 is camera 1. These are just examples. Key 1 is camera 1, key 2 is LUA, and key 3 is server, and key 4 is server, the same server port, okay? And then the last thing we have is, there's our key layers, so there's 4 ticked there. So there's our switch across point, ticked. There's our emem recall, ticked. There's our key layer 4 keyers, ticked. And then there's our video server, ticked, because this template is also going to control the video server. So I right click that. And we get more options. So we're going to use channels A and B. Again, mosart determines what server it wants to use. We don't care, but we're just going to say